And Simran may not be able to take down Ashini right now, but we have Rakib, who's definitely going to try and take her down. So our next fighter, debater, is from Jamaica, Queens, and he's a freshman at Benjamin Cardoso High School. Nice to have you here. And he's going to bring up new problems of virtual schools that Ashini may have missed. All right, so a round of applause for him.
Hey everyone, I would like to thank the Smartboard team for bringing out some valuable points about the benefits of virtual schooling. As a Chalkboard team, however, there are some issues I need to address. One of the major benefits of traditional school is that students who are shy are in need of some form of a structured environment to help them stimulate their social abilities. We cannot allow these kids to live a life without social relationships simply because of the fact because they're shy. In such cases, traditional schools are instrumental in helping children become more extroverted. Moreover, complete isolation from other children of that same age and with the same mental capacity is not a healthy choice for any student, shy or not. According to the World Health Organization, or the WHO, the definition of health is state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Traditional schools promote a child's complete health by allowing children to maintain standard friendships. School is not only about learning about subjects like math, science, social studies, or English, but it's also the ability to navigate a social scene. With virtual schools where students don't have their friends with them, the opportunity to learn these skills are completely lost. Bullying is also a really big issue in virtual schooling. Virtual schooling would indeed decrease normal bullying, but in today's times, cyberbullying is a new big thing. As virtual schooling arises, so does cyberbullying. That's why the Smartboard's resolution will definitely expose more students to the evils of cyberbullying. Students are also inundated with technology on a daily basis between Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and other media sites. With virtual school, students are constantly online, before school, after school, between classes, and they're completely distracted by the internet. And virtual schooling does require a lot of discipline. And to be mad, people don't have that these days. We need honesty for these virtual schoolers, and they don't really have that these days. And that's all I really have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Rakib. That was great. And you were so great that you inspired someone to ask a question. So you can answer this, or any of the debaters can choose to answer this. How successful is a virtual school compared to traditional schools in actually learning the topics? This question is from Monish. I'm going to assume what Monish means by actually learning the topics is, I guess, writing the answer on an exam is one thing, but actually to be knowledgeable about a topic or a subject is an entirely different story. So Monish probably wants to know how knowledgeable are students from virtual schools. Okay, you can take that. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna go grab that mic right over there. Okay, I apologize for that. Here you go.
Okay, so I guess what something people fail to realize is that they think virtual school is just reading a textbook online yourselves, answering the questions yourself, and taking an exam. The truth of the matter is actually virtual schools actually have lectures up online where you have actual teachers in front of a board actually teaching a lesson. In fact, just 2 days ago, I was looking into virtual classes by Stanford in game theory. So I mean, there are benefits to it, and you can actually learn. Of course, it also boils down to the person actually taking the course. If you don't have self-discipline to sit down in front of a screen and train yourself to actually focus, then maybe virtual schooling is not for you, but it has its perks and downsides.
Very solid answer. Big round of applause for Ashini. Thank you, Rakib. Much appreciated. Okay, next up we have Yasin, who's the final speaker for Team Smartboard. He's a 10th grader at Stuyvesant High School, and he's a very proud alum of PrepMate's SHSAT Prep. Big round of applause to him. So cool fact, he got a score of 698 out of 800, which is incredible, and got into Stuyvesant in the 9th grade exam. Is that right? Yeah, right? Cool, very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did you like PrepMate?
It was good. It actually helped. I find it that some aspects that I was weak in, I actually got to improve.
Awesome.
And it had a solid base, so yeah.
Thank you. And your sister, Aisha, who also went to PrepMate, she's now in Bronx Science. How does she like Bronx Science?
She's liking it a lot. She's doing pretty good in some classes.
In some-
She's doing good in all of her classes. Yeah.
You're going to get home and be in big trouble.
I'm sorry, Aisha. But,
Is she watching?
I actually don't know. I should watch it.
Yeah, if she's not watching, you're not going to like speak through a TV. Okay.
PrepMate did help her a lot. She told me that, and yeah, go PrepMate.
All right, now go Team Smartboard. So tell us what you want to tell us. All right, big round of applause to Yasin.
Hi. The chalkboard team has brought up many good points about the need for students to interact with one another and learn important social skills in a traditional school setting. But let me tell you the story, however, of Samantha Johnson, an 8th grader in Anoka, Minnesota. In 2009, she was bullied by her peers in her traditional schools and to the point of suicide. This story is not unique and happens all the time, all across the country. It is a story of hundreds of thousands of young students who attend traditional schools in the United States. According to the American Psychological Association, 70% of high school students are bullied on a daily basis. Over the last few years, the news has been clouded with stories and examples of students who have been moved to take their own lives due to bullying. Tragic school shootings, including the infamous Columbine shooting, have demonstrated that the shooters themselves were bullied and tormented in schools. It is a never-ending vicious cycle. Virtual schooling is the solution. A traditional school is based on a physical setting, both in school and out of school. And most of the problems associated with school originate from the environment. In order to be bullied, you have to be physically within the same space as a bully. So that really can't happen in a virtual school. I mean, hey, it's online. And distractions like Facebook and AIM aren't really available because, you see, the removal of disruptions is ensured through prevention methods that are already being implemented. There are complex firewalls and encryption programs that are used in order to keep out those that intend harm out. In addition, there are many anonymity options available to students who do not want their personal information and/or names available to the public. And a healthy relation can always be kept with the instructor. There's always the option to contact them via email or other communication means. And this is all at your own pace. Again, this system is being done at the student's level and can be adjusted as needed. Virtual schools are the perfect opportunity for hundreds and thousands of students who do not fit into the traditional mold of a brick-and-mortar school. For students with learning disabilities, social issues, or even really gifted students who far exceed the curriculum standards. These virtual schools provide them with a curriculum that is suited to their particular needs. They can take that Chinese class that isn't funded by the school's budget, or they can take that pre-calculus class that's offered by MIT or Yale via online courses, which isn't funded by the school's budgets. With the onslaught of online courses being available through top-tier universities, students have more options to fit their educational goals. As my partners have been stating, there are numerous benefits to virtual schools, not limited to cost, curriculum, social opportunities, and we're living in a constantly evolving world where it's not only important, but critical, and I repeat, it's critical to keep up with the latest technology and use it to our benefits. Through virtual schools, we can engage so many more students and provide educational opportunities to a larger spectrum of our students. We can educate more students with limited resources, and hey, virtual schools are the answer to our country's education crisis. Thank you.
Very solid way to conclude for Team Smartboard. Thank you very much, Yasin. That was excellent.
And shout out to Sty Kids. Go Sty.
You know what? If you're going to do that, shout out to Baruch. Sorry. I'm being very belligerent right now. It's the debate that's getting my blood boiling. One thing that Yasin said, I'm going to, again, play devil's advocate and say, yeah, sure, bullying is a horrible problem, and that needs to be addressed, but is the best way of addressing it just removing the school altogether? Because I just want to say I met two of my very, very closest and best friends in high school. And if I were in a virtual school, would I really be, you know, so close to them as I am right now? Well, not physically, of course. I mean, I talk to them all the time. I text them, all that stuff. I rely on them for, you know, very nice, laughter and also to help me solve my problems. So would that be possible in a virtual school? Oh, okay. Okay, I'm obviously not part of Team Chalkboard, so I'm going to let Team Chalkboard do what they have to show that maybe what he said may not be the best thing. So our final debater for the entire debate, as well as Team Chalkboard, is Ramya Iyer. Let's give her a huge round of applause. She goes to Queens High School for the Sciences, which is where I went. So high five. Yeah. And her brother, since her brother is from Elmhurst, I'm totally going to assume that she went there too. I mean, she lives there too, right? Solid
would make
assumption.
sense.
It would make a little bit of sense, just a little. So how do you like Queens Science so far?
I like it a lot.
It's a fun school?
It's cool. Anyone thinking about applying there, you should. It's awesome.
And she also represents the Hindu Temple Society of North America. So before we get into the debate, let me ask you a little bit of something. How's your art going? Because you are an artist.
It's really coming along. It was
Stand closer to the mic.
okay. It's really coming along. I've been getting lots of ideas, and I've been sort of experimenting with them, and you'll probably see it soon.
Good stuff. All right. So now let's hear a little bit more about chalkboards. Or Team Chalkboard. Big round of applause to them, yeah.
So, first of all, I would like to commend the Smartboard team for bringing forth many valuable points. This is a very highly contested topic that has many benefits as well as drawbacks. While both are taken into consideration, the list of drawbacks far exceeds that of the benefits. The Smartboard team has stated that virtual schooling looks better in college resumes, but resumes are only a small part of the college acceptance process. Numerous students gain wisdom and insight on colleges, which they can only learn from traditional schools. Guidance counselors and teachers provide students with the necessary tools and guidance necessary for applying to colleges. These things can only be found in traditional schools and are lacking in the virtual school system. Selecting a college is one of the biggest choices of your life. You need the guidance of people who have already been through it. The Smartboard team has also said the virtual school system would save the Department of Education a lot of money. But what is to happen to the annual budget that schools are given each year? If schools not spend their given budget within the year, their budget for the next year will be decreased. If more students opt for the virtual schooling, the schools will not be able to spend their budgets for student needs, thus decreasing the school's budget annually. The Smartboard team has also stated that virtual schooling will provide makeup courses for students who fail and would otherwise be left behind. But simply repeating a course will not help the student target their problems and fix it. In traditional schools, when a student fails a course, teachers help the student to pinpoint their problems and fix it. However, virtual schools will not give students the opportunity to improve upon their weaknesses. Thus, students will pass courses without progressing and gaining new knowledge. Isn't that the point of going to school, learning new things? Furthermore, the Smartboard team claims that virtual schooling will lead to a decrease in school bullying. However, we believe that virtual schools will not only increase school bullying, but also lead to virtual bullying. In school bullying, bullies can be dealt with face-to-face. Guidance counselors and teachers can confront the bully and issue necessary punishments. On the other hand, virtual bullies are virtually impossible to target because they're able to hide behind the mask of the internet. How will authoritative figures be able to track down these menaces and be able to fix this giant problem that haunts us every single day? By decreasing time spent online, cyberbullying would decrease exponentially. The points made today reiterate our point that while virtual schooling does provide some benefits, the list of drawbacks far exceeds that of the benefits. What we're really trying to do is find out what's best for our children because they are our future. We need to give them the education that they deserve. Thank you very much.
Very good job, Ramya. Don't go away. Stand right here.
Sorry.
It's fine. So, personally, I see that you have stars on your paper. Wait, why did you draw stars on your paper? Were you bored?
No.
She's a star.
She's a star. Oh, that's really sweet. Okay, I got distracted. It's fine. Attention span of a goldfish. This is probably why I shouldn't take online classes. It's obviously not for me. Point is, what do you personally think? Like, outside of this debate, it's not going to be used for the purposes of moderating the debate. What do you personally think?
I honestly think it depends on the student, because if you're more of a person who needs to physically experience things, then the traditional school is what you need. You need to be able to sit in a classroom, listen to your teacher, see it being done on the board, be able to interact with other students. But if you're more of a person who's, like sort of antisocial, they want to keep to themselves, then I guess virtual schools would be all right for you. But it really depends on the person. You can't make a generalized decision.
Makes sense. Okay, so thank you so much for all your very wise words. Big round of applause for Anya. So we're going to give our fearless moderator, Mr. Campanella, some time to gather his thoughts and decide. Oh my God, he like wrote an entire essay.
I was taking notes on the various aspects were said, and there was one thing that struck me that no one mentioned on either team, and I'd like to know if someone could possibly address the issue.
Okay,
maybe I could throw it to both sides and see. For the virtual school, for the smartboard team, how do you handle students that do not have internet access or the means to attend a virtual school because they don't own a computer, they can't afford a good internet service? Because if you just have dial-up, there's no way you can really really take advantage of a virtual school. So what can be done for students in that situation?
Let me hand you the mic, Gokul.
That was a real fall, not a virtual fall.
If this video goes viral, I'm in so much trouble. Okay. All right, Gokul.
Well, nowadays there are a lot of organizations such as Computers for Youth, which go around to different public schools where there's a high population of students that do not have computers, whether it be for financial reasons or whether it be the family's choice. And since we're in a progressing age, all students need to have computers in order to keep up and just continue with age. So, for example, Computers for Youth, they take the students and their families and they teach them how to use the computers. They give them very quality internet for very low prices and educate how to use educational software. So I think it's not only the public system, but there are various other organizations that are helping to continue this movement forward. So I don't think it's only just a small group of people who think virtual schools are very beneficial. I think the presence of these new organizations shows that everyone's on the same page, that we need to move forward.
Sounds good. All right, big round of applause for Gokul. So now that we've heard all the debaters and we've heard the different sides and different issues that may cloud the debate of whether virtual learning is beneficial or more beneficial than conventional learning, let's have our moderator tell us what he thinks. What do you think, Mr. Campanella?
This is going to be tough. I'm trying to put my own natural bias on the side.
Okay.
And I've been teaching now 9 years, and I have some experience with the virtual system. I put a lot of my notes online the last couple of years, and basically I do see a lot of value to a virtual school system in gaining access and having students. For example, in this past year I've been putting a lot of my lessons on a Dropbox, and my students actually, I've seen them, they've actually told me how they take my lessons, it's in PDF format, and they wind up, they're walking around, well, they're not supposed to have their phones in school, but anyway, I've actually seen them studying my lessons on their phone and gives them access to that, which is actually fantastic, which is something that an online presence requires and adds that benefit to enhancing instruction. At the same time, though, I don't know if I'm convinced that if everything went completely virtual, it would be really beneficial to society and the student population in general. So, but the virtual schools did make made some very valid arguments. So did actually the chalkboard team made some very valid arguments. So do I have to make a decision?
You don't have to make a decision, but
because honestly, I would actually say between both the valid points that they made, I don't think anyone swayed me any which way.
Ooh.
So in other words, I feel like
Mr. John Campanella.
I feel that they all made valid points, and I think that what this means is virtual schools do have a place, and they should actually be there for those students that can take advantage of them. There will be opportunities like the students that want to take Chinese and they can't take it. However, I am convinced that you will want to take my pre-calculus class and not the one at MIT.
You actually do want to take his
You can ask
pre-calc
Sam
class.
for that because she's had me, but then she might be biased, so maybe I shouldn't bring her into it. But I am very confident in my classroom abilities, and when you close that door in the classroom, there's something, especially when you have a dynamic teacher, something magical happens that I don't think the virtual school can ever replace. But I do think virtual schools and an online presence will have a place in the future, and I think it does open the door for certain things. For example, what if there was a camera in my classroom and someone was watching me in my pre-calc class because they didn't have pre-calc in their high school somewhere in a poorer community and they could get to learn it. So I think it opens up opportunities. I think it's something that we should discuss, but as I mentioned in the beginning, I don't think it's an all or nothing situation. I think we can find a blend between the two.
I think that was very well said. I couldn't have said it any better. Big round of applause to Mr. Campbell. Thank you so much. And again, the students did a really good job, you know, putting forth their opinions and putting it forth very well, actually. I will say certain things, like let me kind of give in my 2 cents about this. So I have taken classes online, so to speak, or like half of my classes have been online. At Baruch College, we have something called Connect, which is in association with McGraw-Hill. And so some of our homeworks and assignments and quizzes are online. Same thing with my micro and macroeconomics class. A huge portion of the class was online. And as much as the online class was beneficial and helpful in terms of letting me move at my own pace, there were certain things that I definitely missed. I definitely missed the opportunity to maybe ask my professor, you know, how does this work? Or if there was a question about the quiz, in classes you can raise your hand and ask the professor, what do you mean by the wording of this, this, and that? But when you're taking a quiz online, there's really not that opportunity. You don't really have the opportunity to do that. The other thing is, I have had some very amazing teachers who have impacted me, like Mr. Campanella himself. And what he said,
Thank you.
What he said about his pre-calc class, absolutely true. To this date, I can tell you how I remember and asymptote. I was just talking about this with him earlier, and that's because he, you know, taught it in a very dynamic and energetic way. So definitely a combination of the two need to exist in order to create, I think, a very wholesome and well-rounded student. So, but big round of applause anyways to the debaters who did an excellent, excellent job. So I told you earlier that this was in association with iDebate and the Interfaith Center of New York, and we have 2 people from there, Ms. Aditi and Mr. Kevin. Please come on up. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Okay, do you both have mics? Oh,
we do.
Awesome. Who needs that one? So, how exactly did you start, you know, training students how to debate? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm being told to move over just a touch.
Okay.
That's good? Okay, awesome. So what's the basis of this? Because I know a lot of high school students do stuff like sports and swimming and music lessons. Why debating?
So I work for the International Debate Education Association, or IDEA, and we partnered with the Interfaith Center to the Interfaith Center of New York to work with 3 youth groups at these 3 youth organizations. So for example, we used the connections of the Interfaith Center to partner with the United Sikh organization, with the Jamaica Muslim Center, and with the Hindu Temple Society of North America, which is where all of these lovely students are here representing. And so through the work of Kevin, we were able to do that and partner with these students. Debating is a way for students to use their communication and public speaking skills to talk about issues that are important to them, that are important to their communities, and important to their societies.
Absolutely. I think you did a great job with them. Big round of applause to you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I noticed these students are very eloquent. The fact that Mr. Campanella brought up points and the fact that some of our viewers brought up points that weren't quite answered or something, and they were able to answer them on the fly and, you know, come up with very constructed and thoughtful responses showed that they're really learning a lot through debating. So very, very great job with them.
Thanks.
So,
Yeah, we're really excited about it.
And how does interfaith play into this? How important is it for students to identify with their faith? And
Well, I think I'd like to start by saying that I think that everyone involved in this program recognizes that these students are very likely to assume leadership roles in their future. And so it's just obvious that there are a lot of skills that they can obtain from a debate program that will serve them and serve their communities and when they assume those leadership roles. So, you know, when you're in any debate program, you're going to learn how to analyze problems from multiple sides and express your ideas quickly and clearly. But also with the interfaith aspect of this particular program, the students gain a kind of multicultural awareness and an interfaith sensitivity that I think leaders, especially in a city like New York that's so racially and ethnically and religiously diverse, need, and that we actually expect from our leaders in New York.
Absolutely. That's very true. I mean, in a time like this, when faith doesn't, I feel like a lot of people don't identify with a faith, but the fact that people who do identify with a faith are able to coexist and meet with other people from other faiths and backgrounds and, you know, come up with tangible solutions and real ideas that, you know, just commingle and coexist is really, really great. All right, so again, a huge round of applause to Mr. Campanella. Thank him. Yeah. And that brings us to the end of this episode. We actually have certificates for all these students. I don't really have enough time to like hand them out. All right, Gokul, where are you? Here I am anyways. Ashini?
Thank you.
Yasin?
That is me.
That is you. That is I. Simran? Oh, I'm so sorry. Rakib? And Jamia. Accomplishment, yeah. Congratulations to all of you. So anyways, that brings us to the end of this episode of India Talks. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you to the crew, Jonathan Griffith, Ruben, Mariana, Mike, Jim, Claude, Aurelia, Chico, Mom, Dad. Everyone worked really hard. If I missed anyone, I apologize. Mark your calendars to watch the Veena Mass Appeal concert at Flushing Library on June 21st. Like the India Talks Facebook page, it's lacking in likes right now. That should be mental note for me too. Email us at indiatalkstv@gmail.com for any suggestions or if you'd like to be part of the studio audience or even on the show. And thanks everyone who contributed and asked questions today, much appreciated. Next episode will be on June 8th. Same time, same place. I'll see you then. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.